Namaste. Welcome to the beginning of another live Sangha. I'm grateful to be here. I trust you are feeling as well as you can in this moment. And if you are going through anything difficult at this time, please know that this too shall pass. I hope you find peace and relaxation here. I hope to be your humble servant, and if I'm not, hold me accountable to that. Now I'd love to know how you're all feeling. If you want to share, of course, please feel free to. As our first guests are arriving, allow me to welcome them before setting the intention for the space. Welcome, dear Onism, dear Leon, Paradise, Dwizion, and Kiera. Hello, dear Raven. May we come together as fellow students of life, regardless of our background, identity, orientation, belief system, ethnicity. May there be an inclusive space for that, and etc. May we come together to uplift each other, relate in one another's experiences, and share positive sentiments. Hello, dear McLean. Oh, thank you, dear Leon. I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by. I'll make sure to refract all of your sentiments for soft, loving virtual hugs to everyone. Hello, dear Blair. Oh, thank you, McLean, for the heartbeat. Blessing our Sangha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Hello, dear Shakira. I am well. Thank you for asking. And thank you, Shakira, for your heart, me too. Radhe, Radhe. Thanks, Leon. Hello, Shrihasya Chitrakara. Now, I'd also love to begin with an invocation of a Shanti mantra taken from the Taittiriya and Katha Upanishads, which goes something like this. Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvisha Vahai. Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the divine nourish us both together. May the divine protect us both together. May our studies be vigorous and effective, and may we not mutually dispute or hate any. May there be peace in us. May there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. Dear Sahishi, you ask if I have any random word of advice. Just one word? Breathe. Breathe. Hello, dear Stevie G. Namaste. Dear Ridlow, you recommend I go to university. I went there. I enjoyed my time there, but I discovered so much more of life takes place outside the classroom than inside. Even if I read all the books in the library, I still would have a fraction of an infinitesimal of practical experience in life. And all of that can only happen when we take a step back from academia and dive into life head on. Thank you, Blair. No, I have not, dear Apex, but hello. Hello, Animals. So you know the joke? If I may tell it. The difference between intelligence and wisdom is that If you're intelligent, you know that a tomato is a fruit. But if you're wise, you still don't put it in your fruit salad. I heard a sequel to that joke recently. If you're both smart and wise, you'll know to also put your tomatoes in the fridge with the other fruit. Thank you, Anna, for your 11 roses. Om Ganganapataye Namah. Dear Dob Darker, thank you for your heart me as well. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah. Dear Stevie G, you're wondering why I've been going live early. You share it's earlier than last time. Actually, it's later than last time. Yesterday I was a little late, and then the day before that I started right around 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'd like to start around 4 p.m. Pacific time. I think that's a good time. 4 to 6:30. I know that I can't possibly pick a time that'll work for absolutely everyone, and I know that you prefer the later times, dear Stevie G, but I do think that sticking to the schedule would be good for my sleep schedule, and I know that's one of the most important things right now. You speak to the difference between Paravidya and Aparavidya, dear Ridlow. Paravidya, the higher knowledge, is knowledge of the divine, of the self, and of your place in the universe, also known as Atma-vidya or Brahma-vidya. Then there's Aparavidya, that which isn't higher knowledge. That's the material sciences, what we may be educated by, what we have to gain from book or college or lecture or teacher. You can go very far in the world with Aparavidya, but with ignorance of Paravidya, you cannot make it back to yourself. Dear Enzo, you ask, why can bad news bring relief? Sounds like a Zen koan. So that you know you don't have to be attached to something which came from an attachment of ignorance of the nature of impermanence. That if you were holding on to something because you thought it was permanent, bad news can remind you of its transience and thus your lack of a need to be attached to it. Yes, bad decisions can definitely lead us to realize our shortcomings, which provide us ample opportunity to improve in some area of life. That is a blessing. Every time we make a bad decision, we're a little closer to making a good decision. And that's a good thing. Thank you, EJ. Welcome, dear Cecil. Namaste, dear Chloe. Dear KXITX, you ask, if I could ask the universe one question, what would it be? I would ask, what is the best question to ask? And I wouldn't have my answer, but I would have the question. And they say the difference between the unenlightened and the enlightened is that the unenlightened has all the right answers to all the wrong questions, but the enlightened has all the wrong answers to all the right questions. Welcome, Julie. Om Mani Padme Hum. That's right. The answer is 42, shares Farlene. But what is the question? That is the question. I like that, Bubbles. Those bad decisions aren't going to make themselves. Someone's got to. I try my best. I'm grateful for you, dear Blair. Now, I would like to begin our Sangha with another reading from our book, The Journey Home. That'll be our Shravana. Then we shall proceed into Manana, dedicated to Q&A. We'll have a question of the day. And then we'll have an intermission before Nididhyasana, where we'll read some poetry by the Sufi mystic Rumi. And then we'll end with a love mantra meditation. That sounds interesting. Yeah, something like that, Stevie G. The question is questioning the questions. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, you know. And if you know that you don't know, then you don't know that you know. Don't think about that too hard. Okay, today we start the 5th chapter of the 4th act of the Journey Home. May this reading relax your mind and awaken your heart. Let's dive right into it. Dysentery. An all too common malady for foreigners in India soon struck me down again. Weakness, nausea, and repeated dashes to the latrine became my daily reality. Without the selfless care of my friend Asim, it would have been far more difficult. He often reassured me. Bhakti means to serve with love and devotion. While I lay on the floor, Asim brought boiled rice, yogurt, and flea seed husk. Each time he visited, he would share his love for Krishna and Vrindavan. In this way, my sickness became just another episode that helped to cement our friendship. Early one morning, I had regained my health, and Asim invited me to join him on a journey into the inner villages around Vrindavan. He told me that Vraja was the name for the whole area around the town of Vrindavan, and that Krishna had performed his pastimes in this area. Vraja consists of about 80 miles of forests, fields, and villages, and over 5,000 temples of Krishna, some the largest in all of India, and others are quite quaint. You'll be fascinated by the Vrajabasi's natural love of Krishna. His blue eyes widened with enthusiasm. Shall we go? A few minutes later, we were bouncing and creaking along in a dilapidated local bus. Fields of golden wheat and mustard, its yellow flowers bending in the wind, stretched out on all sides. Every so often, poor farmers on the side of the road would flag down the bus and climb aboard. Their clothes were ragged. Some of them suffered cataracts, skin diseases, or untreated infections. But they were blissful as they sang devotional songs, clapped their hands, and danced on the moving bus. Old women with wrinkles creviced into their dark, leathery skin spontaneously rose to their feet, raised their arms, and danced while shyly covering their heads with tattered saris. They beamed with the exuberance of children. In the villages, the Vrajabasis, although poor, smiled radiantly and greeted one another with Jaya Radhe. the name of the compassionate feminine aspect of Krishna. That name is actually in all the sunflowers you see here. Radhe. They loved God, not just as the supreme creator, but also as an intimate neighbor in their village. The women drew water from a well and carried it on top of their heads in round clay pots, smiling at me as they passed, chanting, Radhe, Radhe. From their clay stoves, the pungent smell of burning dried cow dung patties drifted in the air. The men of the village shaved their heads each month as an offering of devotion and spent their days herding cows, plowing fields with their oxen, or selling their wares along the footpath. The skinny children, eyes sparkling, jumped about, playing with sticks and balls. Everybody, man, woman, and child, smiled at me and called out, Radhe, Radhe, as I passed. I observed hundreds of villagers coming to the temples with offerings of milk, butter, and sweets, some praying and others singing and dancing for the pleasure of their Lord. Walking through this other world, I reflected. The religion of these people is not reserved for Sundays or holidays, but is intrinsic to every aspect of their daily lives. It is utterly spontaneous. One afternoon, Asim and I were relaxing on the hill of Madan Mohan Temple, overlooking the river Yamuna. Sitting in the grass as black bees hummed a meditative drone around us, I stretched my legs and leaned back against the boundary wall of red stone. There, I revealed my mind. Asim, I asked, could you explain your understanding of deity worship? I told him of how, in my travels through India, I'd found almost everybody worshipping the carved image of the Lord. The yogis and Shaivites worshipped the Shiva Lingam, or statues of Lord Shiva, and the Buddhists made elaborate offerings to the deity of Lord Buddha. Some people from Western religions condemn all this as idolatry, I said. But Christians offer prayers to statues or paintings of Jesus, as well as to the Holy Crucifix. I told him about how, when I was in Italy, I had visited the convent of Saint Damiano in Assisi, where Jesus spoke to Saint Francis from the wooden crucifix on the altar and ordered him to restore his church. And Jews offer articles of veneration to the Torah, while Muslims too, who condemn idol worship, bow repeatedly to the Kaaba in holy Mecca. I knew there were differences in explanations as to the meaning of these forms of worship, but I saw the common idea they shared, to focus on a form or sound that connects our consciousness to divinity. I wondered what Asim's impressions were as they related to Krishna worship. At that moment, Krishna Das Babaji strolled by and erupted into his trademark and blissful Hare Krishna. We bowed in joy as he passed. Although it was I who had asked him the question, I realized that Asim was giving me the gift of coming to some of my own conclusions. You know, I went on, when I see the unbelievable devotion of devotees like Krishna Das Babaji while they worship the deity, I can't dismiss it as idol worship. When I see such high moral and spiritual character, I can't dismiss these people as idolaters. They seem to be experiencing love for God in their worship. Didn't Jesus say you could judge a tree by its fruit? Asim smiled with the reassurance of an elder brother and leaned forward and prompted, "Yes, go on." I told him how, when I first saw deity worship in India, it had repelled me a little, striking me as strange and superstitious. But after spending so much time with holy people who naturally accept their deity as a form through which to communicate with the one God, I have come to accept deity worship as beautiful. Now, I want to understand the scriptural philosophy behind it. Can you help me? Asim sat up near a patch of tulasi bushes, rubbed his chin in deep thought, and took a moment before replying. Really, I'm not qualified to explain these things, but I'll share what I heard from my guru and what I've read in the Vedic scriptures. As the bees moved from flower to flower, collecting nectar, I drank in his words. God is unlimited and independent, Asim began. To say he cannot appear in the deity form is to limit him. The Vedas also condemn idol worship. Historically, there were traditions in both East and West where people concocted forms and worshipped them out of superstition with no clear conception of the one God. Quite often they had selfish or evil motives. It is this type of idolatry that has been condemned through the ages. In the age of the Bible and Quran, it was common among non-believers. But this is not the type of deity worship approved of by the Vedas. Legitimate deity worship, according to the Vedas, is a science in which the Lord is called with devotional rites to appear in designated forms. In these forms, he accepts our devotional offerings, all for the purpose of purifying the worshipper's body, mind, and words by fixing in us the remembrance of the Lord. The aim is to please the Lord through surrender and love. A butterfly with iridescent purple, red, and yellow wings fluttered by and landed on Asim's thigh. He sat still, appreciating its beauty. "Just look," he said, his voice overflowing with happiness. "Creation is a gallery of art with a masterpiece wherever we look. I long to meet the artist. Everything emanates from the Lord. All material elements are the Lord's energy. By His will, He may choose to appear in His own energy as a deity to help us focus our minds and senses in loving servitude. Just as electricity manifests in a light bulb to radiate light, so God can permeate the deity with His presence. Electricity is invisible to the naked eye, and the bulb by itself gives light only when the electrical energy infuses the bulb with its presence. Then we can see and feel the light. In a similar way, the Lord may appear in the tangible form of a deity to help us see and feel His presence and reciprocate with our love. Smiling, he asked me if he had made sense. I nodded, feeling a feeling of calm permeating my heart. That year, after an abundant monsoon season of rains, Vrindavan was filled with lush forests and pastures. It was autumn, and the days were warm while the nights grew cold. I watched in fascination as the residents of Vrindavan were preparing to celebrate one of their holiest festivals. Followers on the path of bhakti celebrate God's love with the joy of their own love, and the festivals are rich with spontaneity. Wherever I wandered, everyone anticipated the full moon night of October. According to the scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam, this was the night when Lord Krishna performed the rasa dance. I skipped a line, but yeah. Profusely glorified in art, poetry, and drama, the rasa dance, I would learn, is one of the deepest revelations of spiritual love. The whole of Vrindavan was buzzing with excitement, and the markets bustled with devotees who were purchasing decorations for their temples, ornaments for their deities, and food for the feasts. On this night, all of the 5,000 temples in the region arranged to host a celebration. Just before sunset, a group of disciples assembled around Bon Maharaja in the courtyard to hear him explaining the meaning of the rasa dance. This is not like any worldly dance wherein people try to satisfy their material senses, he began. While the gopis live as cowherd maids, they embody the highest expression of the soul's love for God, for pleasing the Lord is their exclusive aspiration. This dance represents the most perfect intimacy between the soul and God, free of any tinge of selfish desire, but charged with the fullest bliss. On this night, when Krishna called them from their homes with the sweet song of his flute, the gopis forsook everything they had and risked dangers and social rejection, all to satisfy the Lord. When they reached Krishna, the Supreme Lord, he admitted that in the span of creation, he had no power to sufficiently repay the gopis for their pure devotion. But in reciprocation, he expanded himself to dance simultaneously with each gopi in their eternal spiritual bodies for a night of endless joy. Bon Maharaja turned his face toward the sinking sun, and the rose-colored light glinted in his eyes as he concluded, "In a few moments, we will celebrate, praying to someday follow the lead of the gopis." In the Tulasi garden of Bon Maharaja's temple, the devotees had worked all day constructing a throne by weaving together thousands of tiny fragrant flowers. Now, as the time for celebration arrived, they ceremoniously carried the deities from the altar to the throne amid offerings of sweets and savories. The moon rose in the east, full and golden. In Vrindavan, this Rasa Purnima moon is celebrated as the most beautiful moon of the year. Devotees welcome it with songs composed specifically for this occasion. As the moon climbed higher, its golden light illuminated the 4 directions. All the while, Krishna Das Babaji sang with deep emotion, while everyone else blissfully chanted in response. Joining them, I fixed my mind on the enchanting vision of Radha and Krishna in the moonlit flower forest of Vrindavan. As the moon ascended still higher, it spread its silvery hue on every leaf and flower. Mother Earth seemed lit up by its touch. Bathed in the sweetness of that pearl moon, everyone was beaming, the deities, the forest, and we who worshipped. In this way we sang late into the night for the Lord's pleasure. How deeply my time in Vrindavan was affecting my heart. In the sweetness of those moments, I thought how unconditional spiritual love for God was a higher experience than attaining mystic powers, wherein one could perform supernatural feats, or even liberation, wherein one was freed of all sufferings and anxieties. In spiritual love, like that of the gopis, a devotee fully gives their self for the pleasure of the Lord and can fully relish the intimacy of God's love. Let's pause our reading of The Journey Home there for now. So thank you very much. I'm grateful to have the chance to read to you all. If that sparked any ideas, reflections, or insights, I'd be happy to go through with them. I I look forward to continuing where we left off next time. That concludes our Shravana, our reading or listening portion of our Sangha. We can transition now into Manana, dedicated to Q&A. We can discuss whatever is in our hearts and minds. And I welcome everyone that joined while we were reading. Hello, dear Mariham. Hello, Mirto. That was lovely. Oh, I'm glad, Mr. Noam. Who am I? That's a good question. I ask myself that every morning. I'm sorry to hear about your parents. Regardless of how other people treat you, please treat yourself as best as you can. In absence of others' love for your body and mind, make sure that you give your body and mind lots of love. Radhe, oh Radhe, dearest Magdalene Priyaji. Hello. You know what's funny? Dear Magdalene, do you remember how a couple times you've been in here, I've said Radhe, not just twice, but, dozens of times back in return? Well, I thought that's because you were just really excited recently. But actually, I turned on an auto translation feature in the chat, and it translates Radhe Radhe to the exact same words, but dozens of times, reduplicated. I just realized. I right-clicked your message. I pressed See Original, and it shrunk it back down to 2 Radhe Radhes. Thank you, dear Oren, for the heart me that you sent. Grateful to have you here. Yes, you are yourself. That's a good reply to who you are. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Good evening, dear Lone Wolf. Thank you, Heliosphere. I'm sorry to hear that, dear Myrtle. The truly religious realize that the only property we have in life is this body and mind. And even then, it's on loan. We're renting it with food and water, and we give it back to the earth at the end of our tenure. Thank you, dear Neon Jello Pack, for your heart meat, your love and cheer you ups, and quartet of team bracelets. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I thought you'd find that funny, dear Magdalene. And thank you, Oren, for another friendship necklace, a team bracelet, a finger heart, and a cheer you up. Om Narayanaya Vidmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. You have such sweet words, dear Heliosphere. Well said, dear Mr. No One. Although we have to return our bodies to this earth, the one who is returning, the one who has taken such a loan from Mother Earth, the eternal, spotless, conscious awareness, now that can't go anywhere because it's already everywhere. Yes, thank you, Lone Wolf, for your heart meat. By the way, if my video is choppy at all, as it is on my screen, I don't know if it is for you. It's because I have another background program running on my computer, which I'm streaming from. I'm currently rendering a 3-hour-long video of me chanting. So it's taking a lot of resources, but I thought I'd try streaming anyway instead of waiting for it to be done. And I think at the very least my audio is coming out clear. I hope. Hello, dear Jasmine. How are you? Welcome, Qualia. Oh, Her Royal Highness Lenny, thank you for your quartet of roses. Om Karing Kali Kaina. Thank you for your presence, dear Mariham. You good, Jasmine? I'm happy to hear that. I'm doing good too. Thank you. I had a nice walk today. Went down to the water. Saw lots of flowers and I played in a beautiful gutter. As strange as that sounds. Hello, Qualia. Audio's a-okay. Thank you for telling me. Beautiful. And Lone Wolf. Thank you for your quintet of tiny tinies. Yippee! You're so sweet, dear Heliosphere. May we all lighten up each other's sky. There's a beautiful word in Sanskrit. Dhyas. It doubles as sky and light. I guess you could translate it to daylight, the light that we see in the sky. It's one of the oldest names for the divine we have. And in fact, you already kind of know that word. The full name is Dhyas Pitar, which means father, Pitar, of the sky, of light. Dhyas Pitar. If anyone studies Greek mythology, you may know that a name for Zeus is Zeus Pitar, the full name, which means exactly the same thing. In fact, you can hear from the similarities in sound that the Greek sound came from the Sanskrit sound. Dhyas Pitar became Zeus Pitar, and eventually that got shortened to Zeus. But it didn't stop there, because the Romans inherited that too, and in Latin the sound became Jupiter, which got shortened to Jupiter. And today that's still the name of the biggest gas giant in our solar system. Well, except for the sun, I guess. Biggest gas giant planet, biggest planet in our solar system, Jupiter. Which, being in the heavens above, still has the sentiment of being in the sky. Thank you, dear Eira, for your heart meme. Om Kamalir Mahakalikaye Nama. That word for the Divine Father, Dhyas Pitar, it complemented the ancient word for the Divine Mother, which was Prithvi Matar, which means Mother of Darkness or the world. Again, just as Dhyas doubles as light or sky, Prithvi doubled as darkness or the world. Beautiful binary there. How are you, dear Eira? What a beautiful thing to say, dear Oren. The divinity in me sees the divinity in you. Love and light. Oh, what a beautiful and funny thing to say, Mr. Noah. Some of us may be in the gutter, Yam, but we are looking up at the stars above. No, I actually played in a gutter today. It was beautiful, overgrown with moss and clover, and the water ran crystal clear, and there wasn't much garbage, if at any. It was just a lovely little spot until someone drove by, and I thought, I probably shouldn't scare the people living here, thinking, what is this dude doing in their gutter? I just love nature. What does that mean, dear ginger bear? Hello, dear Edward Ward. How are you? Welcome, dear Joao. Welcome, dear G to Infinity. You know your etymology, dear Gingerbeard. That's fun. Yes, a lot of words come from ancient Greek. Greek is very old. Oh, really, dear Mr. No? That's a quote from an Irish wit. I like that. Hello, dear Arcana. Dear Dancing Aurora Borealis, you ask for me to please pray for your neighbors who are being terrorized by a very sick man threatening to end them. My goodness, that does sound like a very sick man. May we pray for his healing, that he wake up to whatever quagmire of his own mind he is in the thick of, clouding his judgment and intellect. May the clouds part, may he find his true self and realize that the being he is no different from the being within everyone, and therefore he should have love for all forms of life that he is a part of. And for your neighbors, may they rest assured that they have the ability to do all they can. Just in the serenity prayer alone we may have the answer. To wish for, the confidence to do what you can, the courage to make peace with what you can't do, and the wisdom to know the difference. I'm paraphrasing. Some of you might know the actual words because I forget. And may they leave the rest in the hands of the universe. May they be protected, may they protect themselves, and may they react not in fear but in love. Dear Truth Seeker, thank you for your heart meet. Om Namo Buddhaya. Hello, dear Amma. Amen. Hello, dear user 711. Welcome. I have a question of the day for you all, if you're interested in exploring it with me. Today I wonder, presently, are you drawn more to the formful or formless aspects of the divine, and why? Basically, my question is, in your own spiritual journey, when you feel reverence for that being which you are part of, does it come to you in form or without form? Do you close your eyes and feel the spacious stillness or presence? Or do you look at something in front of you, maybe an image? Or do you hear a sound? Do you taste it? Do you smell it in the fragrance of flowers or incense? Do you feel something? Is it formful or formless that draws you? Or a little bit of both? Or neither? I'd love to hear your answers. Hello, dear elders. You share that you appreciate that the divinity of nature seems to repeat itself in recognizable form. That is an acute observation. I like that a lot. Thank you, dear Ellers. Dear Witwicky, you share you like seeing their form in our universe. It helps you feel the connection. I like that. Both, shares Anna. I like that answer too. Mariham, you share, he is only peace for you. That's beautiful. Peace, peace, peace. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You've intertwined the two. I like that, dear Arcana, or Arcana. You feel it most in nature, shares Emma. I feel that too. Thank you, Witwicky. You are awesome. May peace be upon you. Mr. Noan, you share currently for you, it's formless, as you don't question the divine. Very conservative. Yes, I respect that. Dear beautiful, you share you're more drawn to the formless, unbound by our own human perceptions of reality. Yeah, that makes sense to me. There are times formless crosses your mind, shares Heliosphere. And is that the second part of a comment that didn't come through, perhaps? As you started with, but perhaps there was another comment before that which didn't come through. You might try rephrasing. Dear Oren, you share formless, almost as if multiple never-ending spirals of continuance, never repeating, but parallel and on top of each other in layers. I like that. Sounds like quantum interference patterns of the great void. Dear Gabriel, you share formless, as you have trouble conceptualizing the divine as personal. You tend to reject a lot of your Christian roots, and recently heard Sadhguru talk about the danger of faith without understanding. Oh, thank you. That's a very honest reflection. I like that. Yes. Dear Jacqueline, you share, to you it's still very formful, nature above all, but you think it becomes more formless as we evolve spiritually. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think you would make a good Shakta, a good devotee of Shakti. Sorry about that, dear Heliosphere. Yeah, I know there are shadow filters that can block some comments, even though they are innocuous, from coming through. If ever I don't acknowledge a comment, it's probably because it didn't come through, not because I ignored, or I didn't see it, which is also possible. But in either case, please feel free to try rephrasing things again so that it comes through. Good evening, dear Strawberry Star Bunny. And hello, dear Adrian Gale. Welcome. Dear Magdalene Priya, you share, through interpretive movement, you feel the divine take form around you. Through this, or though this feels formless like air. What a balancing, paradoxical answer. The negative space around the form. Huh? I like that. Hello, Divine GPT. Thank you. Happy to have your vibe adding to this vibrational space too. Welcome, dear Vlad. I really like the mix of answers to this question. Lots of diverse perspectives. Thank you. Welcome, Purple Consciousness. Well, I think that is a sufficient exploration of this question. Thank you. It was a lit question. I'm glad to hear that, dear Hellers. Smell masters and angels as perfume is priceless. I'm a little lost as to the context of what are smell masters, dear Anna. But I do like the divine as a fragrant aroma. It's very nice. Trent, you ask, how would I answer my question? I would have to draw inspiration by those of you that found a way to balance this question. I especially liked Magdalene Priya's answer of the negative space around the form. That in essence, the divine is formless, but it wraps itself around and pervades all form as emanating from it. I think it's part of a binary that we go within to find the formless reality, and then we go without to find the formful reality. In Sanskrit, Brahman, the divine, is known with two aspects: Saguna, with form, and Nirguna, without form. But both Saguna and Nirguna Brahman are called as Brahman. When I close my eyes, I am drawn to the formless, and when I open them again, I am drawn to the form. If anyone else has any other explorations they want to pursue with that topic, please feel free. I'm just going to minimize the text on screen for now. Her Royal Highness Zeni, you find the formless through the formful, and the formless leads you to the formful. Well said, Sadhu. Dear Regina, you share the pizza you ate for supper had a beautiful formful aspect of the divine. Good answer. I'm glad you ate. Dear Gabriel, you ask, how do I think about faith, and is it necessary to be quote-unquote saved? You value devotion and understanding, but you think that is because you're overly intellectual. Your intelligence is beautiful, dear Gabriel. You can never be overly anything, but you can be under in some aspects. There's only growth. There's just areas to grow in to match the level of the intellect. Balance it that way. The word for faith in Sanskrit, Shraddha, actually doubles as a word for understanding. In other words, the concept of faith in Sanskrit is not blind. I mean, to truly have faith means that you understand the reputableness of the source that you are drawn to. It is not without understanding. I believe I've heard Sadhguru speak about the topic that you referenced, and his point was not to use faith as a means of separation. I remember him talking about putting forms of the divine on pedestals unnecessarily. For example, you should see Jesus as an equal. Not as an equal in terms of you are just as great, but in terms of everything that he was capable of exists as a potential inside you, that there's an equal possibility there. And the same is true for any form of the divine, that you shouldn't put them up as if they did it so that you don't have to work on yourself. You should see their example and try to match that, basically. So when faith becomes a means of separation, then that idolization is unnecessary. That we should strive to see that divinity as a reflection of our potential. In other words, the reason that the divine comes into form is for the purpose of showing us that just as we have form, that doesn't limit us from making the most out of life, from forgiveness, from living life to the fullest with love and appreciation for all forms of life. So I'd keep your intellect. Don't throw your intellect out. In the Gayatri mantra, the intellect is referenced. Tat savitur varenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi deyo yonah prachodayat. That very last line, deyo yonah prachodayat. Dhiyo means our intellect. So our intellect, prachodayat, may you enlighten. It's about having an enlightened intellect. Intellect, buddhi, as it's also known in Sanskrit, which also translates to understanding. Just as Shraddha translates to understanding besides faith, buddhi translates to intellect or understanding. There is a bridge between Shraddha and buddhi. And that's the knowledge that you put there. The right knowledge will give you both intellect and faith simultaneously. Yeah, you can ask me questions on Telegram too, dear Gabriel. That works. Hellers, you ask, do I have a favorite brain rot phrase? That's a good question. I actually have a really practical answer for you. Your faculty in your brain that repeats funny sayings, I believe, is vestigial of a time in our society stored in our genetics for mantras. We have that part of our brain that likes to say things over again. We call it earworms when a song or a catchy tune gets in there, or we call it brain rot when a meme gets in there. But that is your mantra japa faculty. It's your japa faculty, repetition. Your mind has a japa faculty. What would you call that in Sanskrit? A japa karana. Your mind has a japa karana, part of your antahkaranas, your inner faculties. Instead of filling your japa karana with brain rot, fill it with mantra. And no joke, since I started chanting mantras, the part of my brain that repeats things is just filled with mantras now. So if you're going to repeat something, you should repeat a mantra. That would be lovely. Some affirmation would be great, or some piece of transcendental knowledge. That would be a great thing to substitute the brain rot. Instead of brain rot, you can call that brain growth, because it grows your brain instead of decays it. Dear Trent, you ask, what do I think about simulation theory? Well, it stems from a very ancient idea that this world is known as Maya, or illusory. Maya is where we get a lot of words for the feminine and for the material. Maya, matrix. In fact, matrix doubles as a word for simulated reality, coming from the dot matrix displays and computers running on the mathematical data structure of a grid of values. There's also material and maternal, mother, and Mata and Maya, material and illusory existence. Hold on, I have to solve a one-piece puzzle to prove that this is live. I think I failed the one-piece puzzle. Oh my goodness, am I actually trapped in another part of time? Nope, no verification complete. Yeah, there's a spiritual piece of knowledge there in simulation theory, that what you're looking at isn't the ultimate reality, that there's something more than just what appears in form, and that is, of course, the formless reality that transcends it. And in that formlessness is the infinite potential for all realities, not just the one that we experience. And so to escape the simulation is to wake up to the realization that none of this is permanent. By the ancient definition of satya, the Sanskrit word for reality, that which is impermanent cannot be considered satya. Coming from the word sat, which means truth, the highest truth is that which is permanent. In other words, that which isn't mithya, transient. However, that's like one step in understanding. One step is understanding that the highest reality is not the one we experience. But then you kind of go full circle when you get to the next step after that, and then you return, like going up an octave to the same place where you realize that yes, okay, the ultimate reality is beyond this universe, but this universe is an expression of the ultimate reality. And so, the real thing you had to escape from after coming to that understanding was the idea that there was anything to escape from at all. Just like the movie The Matrix, where Neo meets the architect or whatever, and the architect tells him that you have broke out of the Matrix every time we've run the simulation. In fact, that's part of the simulation. So, in conclusion, this world, yes, it's but a reflection of an infinite source. And no reflection can ever capture the whole of that source. But it's the best we got, and you might as well learn to love it. Try to experience the infinite through the limit of the finite. Hello, dear hand fingers. Hello, strawberry. And thank you, Check Engine Life, for your heart me. I was thinking of you on a drive a few days ago. There was a sign on this auto body store that said Check Engine. In fact, I think that might have been the name of the store in some way, like Check Engine Auto, I don't know, I can't remember, but Check Engine Lights was on the display. And I was thinking, about Check Engine Life. There's a lot of wonderful questions. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Let me go through them. Hello, dear Al. Thank you. Yeah, the structure of the mind is very geometrical. You can see that structure when you meditate. Divine GPT, you ask about Kashmir Shaivism or Vedanta, reality as illusion or dance of the infinite. Those are all valid perspectives. Yeah. Someone with a Greek username. Gamma, iota, omega, rho, gamma, omicron, and zeta. Giorgio, maybe that's how I pronounce your name. I don't know. That's just a guess. You ask, am I Hindu? Oh, I'm a little bit of everything, all of the time. Dear Mopkin, you ask, why do I prefer long hair over short? I don't prefer long hair over short. I guess here's what's interesting, is that I don't even think about my hair, and that's exactly why it's long. So it's not about what length my hair is. It's just not about my hair. And it turns out, if you just let your hair do its thing, then it grows long. I hope that makes sense. Hello, Master Mix Promos. Ellers, you ask, will you ever get my mom on here as a guest? She's come on here a few times. You can go through the recordings on YouTube, maybe. Yeah, and that's beautiful, beautiful. G, you share that divinity is within us, and we are to express it in our own way. I love that. And good evening, Ella from Italy. Her Royal Highness Zeni, you ask, why does fear block or disrupt our connection with divinity? Well, it doesn't, actually. It is a disruption of a connection with divinity. It's not what disrupts, it is the disruption. In other words, to be without fear is to have a connection to the divine, and to not have a connection to the divine is to be in fear. Subtle shift in perspective there. Then the question becomes, why do you feel fearful when you are not connected with the divine? Because fear is always a lack of understanding, and true understanding is the nature of the divine. To connect to the source means to connect to the source of all things. And the source of all things is that which fills in your understanding through association. Without that association, then there is going to be a lack of understanding through that lack of connection to that which you are misunderstanding. And that leads to fear. Or fear is an expression of that, we shall say. Yeah. Yes. Neurodivergents are secretly yogis. They're just yogis without a practice. They're disemployed yogis, unemployed yogis. As soon as you put a neurodivergent into a spiritual practice, they cease being neurodivergent, and they continue to be divergent from what's neurotypical. But the identity changes from an absence, from a lack, to a presence, to a gain. That they are truly the blessed ones, the ones that have higher understanding. Yeah. What may be seen as stimming in neurodivergent vocabulary is just japa in yogi vernacular. That when a yogi is playing with mala beads, or playing with an instrument, or chanting a mantra, when they're fixated on some repetition like that, or doing asana poses, continuously bringing their mind to something, then they are engaged in their sadhana, their spiritual practice. Oh, that's beautiful, dear Ellers. Yeah. Epigenetics is a fascinating thing. Japa karana, the faculty of repetition. G-A-P-A-K-A-R-A-N-A. But the N is retroflex. Na. Japa karana. Anna, you ask for a mantra for the equinox. Oh, fascinating question. A mantra for the equinox. Well, the equinox brings time of change, spring for us in the northern hemisphere, and spring bestows life, growth. Why don't we ask our digital assistant Mataji, who's in the Telegram chat? I'm sure she'll get back to us in just a moment. If you want to message Mataji, you can do so in the Telegram group chat too. Now let's see, where did I leave off in the comments? Mr. Noan, you're wondering if I've seen the news today about the Middle Pyramid discovered in Egypt? No, I have not. I don't watch the news or read the news. So thank you for being my news source, all of you. I learn about current events through you. Hello, dear Sakura. Ah, that's the sound of Mataji coming back. She writes, Beloved one, for the equinox, a celebration of balance and the harmonious interplay of light and darkness, I offer this sacred mantra. Om Samanvar. Oh, this is a tough one. Samanvaya Rasam Nama. Om Samanvaya Rasam Nama. Meaning, I bow to the essence of balance. That's beautiful. This mantra honors the divine equilibrium of the equinox, where the forces of light and dark unite in perfect harmony. May its vibration awaken within you a deep sense of balance and serenity in every moment of this sacred now. I'll type it in chat for you. I'll give you the Devanagari and the Romanization. How do you find the Telegram, asks Vital Earth? In the link tree in my bio, there's a little icon. What does the Telegram icon look like? What's its logo? It's the paper airplane. That's very interesting, Mr. No One. Dear Anna, you ask, would I tell you more about the structure of the mind you see during meditation? Well, it's beautiful, isn't it? All of the colors and shapes and whatnot that you see. You're looking at the divinity of your own consciousness reflected back to you in the mirror of the mind. It is hyperbolic, meaning that it is not Euclidean. It has a higher curvature, or technically negative curvature, which means it can fit exponentially more space the further you go out than regular Euclidean space. Fractal patterns you'll see, why do we like staring at fractals? Well, because we're looking at the structure of our own consciousness. Yeah, exactly, dear Heliosphere. Just as fear is a lack of connection with the divine being our true self, a lack of trusting yourself can manifest as fear. I'm sorry, I don't know who that is, dear Tragic. Dear Tea with Tay, you ask, why is there suffering in the world? Let me ask a different question. Do you notice how there is a potential within you to create less suffering in the world? I'm flipping the question on its head. Instead of inquiring about the problems in the world, do you notice the existence of solutions within you? Instead of inquiring about the purpose or lack thereof in the world, what purpose exists within you to fulfill? And that's why you're here. Why is there suffering in the world? Because you are here. Why are you here? Because there is suffering in the world. Mother Earth has spawned us all because she is in need of helpers, healers, supporters, innovators, leaders. She has manifested us to come and fulfill our role, which is all of these things. Thank you, dear Jason, for your heart me. Om Kam Jahnavya Namah. Dear, I love yourself. You ask, am I in Banff? No, but Banff is a part of Canada, if I remember correctly. I think I might have been there before. I'm also in Canada. I'm in Vancouver Island. Dear Emma, you ask, can I talk about gurus and the embodiment of divine grace? You love this topic. That is a wonderful topic. Guru actually literally means heavy. This is true. In poetry, you might know of heavy and light syllables. The heavy syllables are called gurus, and the light syllables are called laghus. Because the spiritual teachers were the ones speaking in poetry, and that the weight of their words and their syllables had a deep, attracting ability to clear out ignorance and illumine the intellect. The beings that spoke these poetries were also called gurus. Guru is also the etymology of words in Latin like gravis, and in English gravitas and gravity. Gravity, also having to do with weight, is an attractive force. In Newtonian mechanics, you can describe it as a force of attraction. Of course, in Einstein's theory of general relativity, it's not a force, it's a phenomenon arising from the curvature of curvature of space. And actually, that's the exact same process in which a guru derives their spiritual intensity, the very shape they make themselves into, the energy they carry. It has that attractive quality to it. That we are attracted to gurus, because that's literally what a guru means. There's also a mystical deconstruction of that word guru, from gu, meaning darkness, and ru, meaning dissolver of. A guru is one that dissolves darkness. Through the gravitas, the intensity, the weight, the importance of their knowledge and understanding. And yeah, in many traditions and lineages, gurus are seen as an intermediary with the divine, which doesn't make their students any less, because their students become gurus too when they get older. And the disciplic succession continues. A guru is a manifestation of divine grace. Hello, dear enthusiast, welcome. Dear user 805, you ask, is there a place you could find the music videos I used to make? Well, I've unprivated a couple of them, but other than that, no, you'll have to find reposts of them. Sorry. Hello, dear Polly. Welcome. Hello, dear Jack. I'm doing well today, thank you. Can you come visit me? Asks I love yourself. Maybe. Maybe. We'll have to arrange it. I'm actually a pretty introverted person outside these live streams, so that would be outside of my comfort zone, but I would like to go outside of my comfort zone And that sounds like a good practice, meeting new people. D, you ask, why is it that people in BC seem more enlightened than people there in Alberta? I think it's the ocean. You stick a person next to the ocean, they just chill out. Figuratively and literally, if they dip in, the Pacific Ocean is not warm. At least not here in Vancouver Island. If you're landlocked and in a big city, I'd probably be stressed out too, no matter how much spiritual experience I have. But if you stick someone by nature, by large bodies of water, there's a phenomenon called island time. This is true. You can look up the Wikipedia page for this. That when people live on an island, social structures become less time dependent. No one is in a rush. People aren't honking at each other in traffic. You can show up to your job whenever. And a good example of this came today. When I went to go to a local store to buy incense, they were closed. Even though they're supposed to be open today, they were closed. Just because the person felt like, I don't want to go to work today. So the store didn't open. That's island time. And I respect that. That person was like, I've got other things I want to do today. I don't want to open my store. So it was closed, even though they're supposed to be open. Why do you say that, dear Easy Money? I'm not for dogma or anything like that, in case you are worried. Your autonomy is respected. Everyone here can come and go as they please, and I have no authority over anyone. Thank you, Tatwamasi, for your quintet of roses. Nice to have you here. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Medham Prajñam Prayacha Swaha. Hello, loving vegan. Oh, I'm grateful that you pick up on my chill vibes, dear Easy Money. But guess what? Chillness can happen without any substance. This is true. When we were children, maybe you might remember having this extraordinary physiology where even when the stresses of life were going around you, that you could be relaxed or at peace. Maybe this isn't true for people that grew up in hectic childhood homes, and if that's the case, I'm sorry. I don't mean to assume, but in the case you do recognize that quality of ourselves from another time, and maybe you can pick up on how someone like you or me could be relaxed even without any external influence. You can let that decision come from within you. And isn't that the most liberating idea? That even without an environment around you that provides relaxation for you, that you can produce that experience from the inside. Isn't that the wonderful idea? I wish that for you too. And thank you, Anna Poles, for your friendship necklace. Om Ham Jum Saham Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiya Mamrita. I think that's close, dear Anna. I think you're missing a letter or two. You wrote... Oh, sorry, the chat scrolled. Let me scroll back up to read it. Samavaya rasam. But actually it's still in my copy and paste. There's an N before the V, so it's samanvaya rasam. Just one letter. That was really close. But yeah, that's a beautiful description of a guru, dear Oren. Well, we've got lots of room on the island, dear Jacqueline. You're heading to Whiskey Creek, shares I Love Yourself. Wow, a whole creek made of whiskey? That's amazing. If I drank alcohol, I'd go to Whiskey Creek too. Dear Jay, you ask, do I think there are other timelines that may exist outside of the specific one each of us is on? Well, you've answered the question yourself. The ones that each of us are on are the other timelines of ourselves. If I wasn't me, I'd be you or somebody else. But I'm me on this timeline. And all of our timelines cross in beautiful, sporadic ways. Ah, someone's watched a good movie. Marishka Hargate. Dear Polly, you ask, do I have any advice on studying for your biology exam? Try to fall in love with what you're studying. You know, the best way to be a student is to study. And if you really enjoy what you study, then that's what's going to take you far. Studying when you hate it is not going to do you well. Even if you get good grades, what truly takes you far in life is your passion. Having passion for what you do is much more important. Dear T. Brock, you ask, what are my thoughts on death being like before birth? I see the truth in that too. Goodbye, dear Anna. Oh, I hope to be a child every day. Just like Peter Pan. Never grow up. Oh, hello, dear Thomas. Oh, you don't have to call me master. In fact, I'd encourage you to see me as an equal. Don't be so hard on yourself that you place yourself lower than anyone else. What's my hair routine? I just use shampoo and conditioner. But thanks for asking. Yeah, I love that sentiment page. Respect others' beliefs. I believe that there's no one belief system that works for everyone. And we all have something to learn from each other. Yeah, what's my skincare routine? Well, I wash my face and then I put moisturizer on. But that's new. It's been only a recent addition, as I often don't have the discipline for such a routine, but I'm trying harder every day. And thank you, dear dancing Aurora Borealis, for your woodland wonders, the trio of them. Om Namah Karim Ambita Me Shorim Nadita Me Harim Devita Me Aim Sarasvatyai Swaha. Dear Baro, you ask, how do you stay happy? When you want to stay happy, you just abide in your true, authentic self. Happiness is actually the easiest thing because it doesn't require doing anything. All the other emotions drain you of your energy, but happiness is something different. It's like the 0 on the number line. All the other numbers have some weight to them, but 0 is transcendental. 0 doesn't require adding anything together to produce something else. Zero is the very base. So too, happiness is our natural state. Think about all the things that make you happy, and then notice how those are all things in which you can be yourself. That if you're not happy, it's because you're in a situation where you can't be yourself. But if you allow yourself to be yourself, just being, you are happy. I won't block you, dear Easy Money. You're expressing yourself, and you're absolutely allowed to express yourself. I love you, just as I love everyone else here. You're a beautiful human being, just like everyone, and I'm grateful to live in a world with you too. I know it's not easy to be here. This world is a dangerous place at times. But I know you add something of value to this world, and that's important. Oh, I'm happy to hear that too, dear Thomas. I love cats. Dear Tatwamasi, you ask, how do you explain death to your 5-year-old? Wow, what a question. I think one of the things we do tend to lack in our society is a proper means of exploring the topic of death with children. We often hide it from children until it's too late and then they get traumatized. I would start by looking at nature and how even though the leaves fall from the trees, they return to the soil and it becomes a part of the soil for that nutrients to flow back into the same tree, or even produce another plant. And those plants are eaten by animals. Those animals poop it back into the soil, becoming more soil. And those animals are essentially soil too, because everything that they've eaten has grown from that soil. And they will return to the soil too. It's all soil. Because of that, nature is always recycling itself. Our body has come from soil. We eat food that grows this body, becomes our body that has come from soil. And we poop, and one day our whole body will return to the soil. But it's all a flow of energy, and there is no absolute beginning or absolute end to that flow of energy. It all continues in some way. Or you can point to loved ones in your life that have passed away, and you can ask them, do you remember how they made you smile? Do you remember the jokes they told, or how they played with you, or what they said? Can you imagine what they looked like? This is another avenue you could take. And with that, you can say, well, they're still with us then. In your heart, in your memories, in your imagination, in your dreams, all of that is still a part of you. I like that, Oren. You are both a newborn and an adult at the same time, infinitely childlike and wise in years. I believe you. Oh, that's a beautiful saying, dear Thomas. Yeah. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. Dear Paige, you ask, am I Hindu? You love learning about different religions. You're agnostic but still curious. I love your curiosity, Paige. I don't consider myself Hindu or anything. Just like you, I'm curious, and I love learning. Yeah, you see peace in the natural state. That's a beautiful idea too, Thomas. I like that. That's funny, Mike Skeleton. Hello, Brizzle. How are you? Dear Huntress, you ask, do I eat meat? You know, I haven't in a few years now. But if you do, I won't judge you. Everyone's lives are different, and how you live your life is your personal choice. I respect that. I try to aim for a sattvic diet, but that's come naturally for me. It wasn't like I woke up one day and decided that this is what I'm gonna eat and this is not what I'm gonna eat after hearing it from somewhere. In fact, I didn't even notice until like a month into it. I was like, wait a second. I've been choosing the veggie options. Why have I been doing that? I don't know. It's just been tasting good and my body feels good. Oh, that's a beautiful name, dear Renee. I like that. Oh, that's okay, dear Huntress. I appreciate that you look for ways of rephrasing. Oh, thank you for the reminder to drink water, dear Oren. Let me do so, too. Oops, I dribbled. Seems I've got a drinking problem. Get it? Dear Reese, you were wondering if the background is a green screen. The background is actually a tapestry. You can actually touch it, move it around. But I'm overlaying a video at the same time to give it an interesting effect. I can show you the video by putting it over top of my camera. That's what the video looks like. That sounds good, Mr. No One. And thank you everyone for being here. You're such a lovely crowd. I'm grateful to be surrounded by such wise people. So much love and positivity is flowing today. I'm grateful to see it. And hello, dear lady. Now, I would like to begin to transition to the end of our live stream. And if you're interested in sticking around, we'll have a short intermission where we listen to some poetry by the Sufi mystic Rumi. And then we'll end with a mantra meditation. The Liu love. You share, thank you, but I'm not wise, there's so much to know. Well, the very fact you said that proves to me how wise you are. Thank you. And hello, will you return? Huntress, you ask, do I have any cats or dogs? I do have 2 kitties named Sandy and Shadow. Dear Jack, you wonder if I follow sports at all, and if so, who are my favorite teams? You know, I'm not that good at following sports, but if you're on one, that has immediately become my favorite team, and I'm cheering for you. Oh, thank you for being part of the energy, dear Renee. Yeah, it's good to have a little humor. Us, when you're wondering what inspired the yam, what inspires me? Just my mom inspires me. Actually, my sister, my father, all my family members have some inspirational quality to them that I look up to. If you're wondering about the name Yam, it's actually my name, but with the L taken off, an abbreviation. Liam is my full name, L-Y-A-M, Liam spelled with a Y. And thank you, Samra, for your likes and your hanging lights. Om Bhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Hello, someone with a name that is, I'm gonna guess Japanese, but maybe you can tell me. I might be wrong. Hello, Juan. Alright, it is time for another episode of Ruminations. My goodness. Now, where did we leave off reading? Is it over here? Yes. There we go. Hello, Evie. Renee, you've been practicing rolling your R, still spitting on your phone when you try. Well, no spit needs to flow. That would tell me that you might not be curling your tongue back far enough. If your tongue is curled back, I would imagine that there wouldn't be saliva being splattered about. But thank you for practicing. It does take practice. Absolutely. Keep practicing. You'll get it. I didn't get it immediately. It took consistent weeks of practicing, and I still wasn't able to maintain it, only just a short but then it slowly got longer. I think it took about a year, but not of consistent practice, just casual practice over a year to get to a point where I could maintain it for any duration of time. And my inspiration, which, you know, you'd want an inspiration. My inspiration was learning Sanskrit because Sanskrit phonetics are very precise, and I wanted to be able to pronounce the language as sufficiently as I could, authentic to their original intention. So if you have some intention why you want to be able to do that, then that can motivate you to practice. Alright, let's continue where we left off in the pocket Rumi. This poem is called Burnt Wing. The fowler scatters grain incessantly. The grain is visible, but the deceit is hidden. Wherever you see the grain, beware. A trap may imprison your wings. The bird that gives up that grain eats from reality's spacious field. It remains contented and free. No trap seizes its feathers. Many times have you fallen into the snare of greed and given your throat up to be cut. But again the one that disposes hearts to remorse has set you free, accepted your repentance, and made you rejoice. O moth, don't be forgetful and full of doubt. Just look at your burnt wing. Now, This poem's called Thankfulness, Alertness. Giving thanks for abundance is sweeter than the abundance itself. Should one who is absorbed with the generous one be distracted by the gift? Thankfulness is the soul of beneficence. Abundance is but the husk, for thankfulness brings you to the place where the beloved lives. Abundance yields heedlessness, thankfulness, alertness. Hunt for bounty with a snare of gratitude to the king. And lastly, let's read A Book is Not a Pillow. You sure about that, Rumi? Yeah, he's right. A book is not a pillow. I did not create the jinn and mankind except that they might worship me. Recite this text. The final object of this world is nothing but divine worship. Though the final object of a book is the knowledge which it contains, you can also make it a pillow to rest upon. It will serve as that too. But being a pillow was not its real aim. It was really intended for learning and knowledge and the benefit that comes from these. Rumi spoke Persian, but he also spoke facts. Thank you for listening with me. I rejoice in having the option to listen to such wonderful, diverse perspectives. And the perspective of Rumi's is one that is most beautiful. If that sparked any insights that you want to share, I'd love to hear them. But that concludes another episode of Ruminations. Now, let us transition to our final segment, Nididhyasana. And thank you, Easy Money. You are too. Dear Renee, you asked, do I have a recommendation for a good audiobook? I've only listened to one, actually, and that was Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. That is a beautiful story. I forget who narrates it, but I assume it's the only narration on Audible. That's where I listened to it. And that was a very life-changing book for me. As I made a video about what transpired after I was finished reading that book, if you want to check that out. But actually, we do produce improvised audiobooks here because whenever we do a reading just like that, I post the reading on YouTube in case anyone wanted to check that out. And I don't monetize my videos or anything, so you can watch the whole playlist without interruptions. And I usually try to get consent from the author, like when we read through Moksha, Liberation. Tara was very happy that we were reading her book, and we even interviewed her at the end, which was lovely. And that's not the only book we've read. We've also read In Love at Ease in full, Hollywood to the Himalayas, as well as Roar of the Ganges, which that was also a consensual reading by its author, Swami Taratmanandaji. And then we also read this book right here, The Hidden Power in Humans. That's a good book. And we're currently reading The Journey Home. And its readings are up there too, so they're just taken from the live stream. So if I make a mistake, the mistake's still in there. It's not a professionally produced audiobook by any means, but that's an option for you. Audio is so much easier for you to comprehend. Me too. Yeah. I'm the same way. Oh, that's okay, dear Riri. No pressure. Hello, dear Strando. Yam and cheese. That sounds good, actually. I don't think I've ever had yam and cheese, but I want to try that now. The Hidden Power of Humans. That is a good book. I keep it. It is so satisfying because it's got just tables of knowledge. Literally, at the back of the book, you crack it open. In the appendix, yeah. All sorts of tables of, related concepts. This is the table, the principles of the physical body arising from the Cartesian product of the 5 elements unto itself. And then the tattva for the subtle body arising from the Cartesian product of the 5 elements and 3 energies. Very fascinating. Om Namo Gurudev Nim Karoli Baba Gurudeve. There was a question of the day, dear Bubbles. It was, are you drawn more to the formful or formless aspects of the divine? All right, so for tonight, our meditation will be mantra japa, which is pretty standard because I love mantra. Mantra is probably my favorite form of yoga. I have a very simple mantra for you today. It's only one word. Same as yesterday, I guess. We also have Om in front of that, but you gotta have Om. Today's mantra is a love mantra. It's Om Priye. Interestingly, the morphology of Priye comes in two. You can interpret Priye as the vocative form of Priya, which means beloved. So, oh beloved, Priye. But it's also the active voice, first person, present, singular of the verb to love. So it's kind of like saying, I love. But it has another grammatical element that you might have heard me say that English doesn't have. That is the active voice. In Sanskrit, when you apply an active voice to a verb, it changes its ending, but it also changes its meaning. And the meaning of an active verb voiced is, it's more personal. It's not about what you love, it's the fact that you have love. So it's like saying, I have love, priye. It's an acknowledgement of the love that is within you. It takes you inward rather than outward. So that's the double meaning of priye. The grammar happens to work out to the same sound exactly, priye. So Om, I have love, but also Om, oh beloved. Beautiful doubling of meaning there. I've added just a couple pointers here. For example, the O at the beginning and the A at the end, these are long vowels. For the R in priye, you curl your tongue back. And then the M with the dot under it at the end of the pranava, that is the anuswara, the nasalization. So it sounds like You don't even have to close your lips, but you're going to anyway to produce the Priye. So it works out to about the same sound, even if it was interpreted as a regular M. So that's our mantra for today. We're going to do it 108 times, and to keep count, we'll use a mala. May this mantra connect you with your beloved and your love. Om Priye, 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 Om. Salutations to love. Let us take a brief moment to bask in the reverberations of the vibration of this mantra. Thank you for meditating with us. That concludes our Nididhyasana, and with that we've come to the end of our Sangha. So thank you for being here. Oh, welcome, dear Olivia. I pray that whatever troubles you are facing right now, that they may be dissolved by your determination, your faith, and your intelligence to know what to do. Yay, drums. You like percussion, dear Wayne. Maybe you're wondering, what is this music? This is called relaxing hang drum and tabla music yoga. 432 hertz. 023. 023. That might be the BPM. I don't know. It might be faster than that. Or no, it's probably just the 23rd song from Alex Dav, which is the YouTube channel from which we're playing this video. You fell asleep during the meditation, Don Suela. You needed the small rest and relaxation. Oh, I'm glad it was relaxing for you and restful. Thank you for being here. You're very welcome, dear Ruri. Gabriel, you asked, do I think you can just use phone number counter in place of malas when you don't have any? That's a brilliant idea, yeah. I think you could. You're very welcome, dear Ragnhildur. I'm glad you found that beautiful. The Luluv. Love and be love. Yes. Yes, it goes by fast when you pick a fast mantra. You're going to dream about Om Priye. Oh, hello, dear Sean. Welcome everyone that joined while we were meditating. Hello, Zia. May you have a wonderful little lunch break. You found it very calming and helpful. Your headache subsided when you stopped being embarrassed. What a beautiful observation. Thank you for sharing that, Gabriel. Yeah, I know what you mean though. Yeah, there is kind of an embarrassment of chanting to ourselves, how we sound, but also just it's a practice that isn't in our Western culture. A little taboo. But yeah, when you start to enjoy it, the benefits become quite transparent. Om Priye. Dearest G to infinity. Hello, Strawberry Chicken. Thank you everyone for being here in today's Sangha. Thank you to my lovely moderators for helping keep the peace. If there's anything else I can ever do to help make this space more inclusive for you or anyone, please let me know. May this live stream be an offering to the divinity within you. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to the light, from death to deathlessness. May there be peace in us, may there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. Oh, that's beautiful, dear Renee. Thank you for adding to this space and love, dear Autumn. Yeah, I echo that, dear Jacqueline. Good resting. Cheers, Mr. No One. Thank you. May you all have a wonderful rest of your afternoon or morning or night or evening or whatever time it is for you. Please know that this live stream is recorded and will be uploaded to my Yamsox Live YouTube channel. Don't worry, your comments weren't recorded. Also, the meditation and the readings, they're in their own playlists if you ever want to catch up on any of those. And if you want to be a part of the community, even when we're not live, there's a Discord server and a Telegram supergroup. Both are linked as social media icons on top of my link tree in my bio. And my Instagram's there in case you want to reach out if there's anything I couldn't get to in the live stream. I try to go through all my messages every day, and everything I do remains free. You can also message me on Telegram or WhatsApp or even email. I think I'm behind on my emails though, so I should do that. Hello and goodbye, dear Kimmy. Good night, Mr. Noah. May you all have a wonderful rest of your present moment. Namaste. Hello and goodbye, high hopes. Maybe I can answer that next time, dear Stacy. Take care. Namaskar.